Okay, so we will see that how many are the kinds of research paper. The first is the research paper, and the second is a review paper. So overview of the both the papers is in research paper you have to identify a gap of a topic. You have to come up with a strong and more accurate output. And in the review paper, you can review many different other research papers, and you have to mix them all up and put it in a review paper so that the reader can have a better understanding of the topic, and can thus find the gaps more easily and can do their research paper. Okay, so the first point to make a research paper is about choose a topic, choose a strong point, identify a gap which you think that it can be researchable. And the second step after it is to do a literature review. You can use the website of Google Scholar. Here you can see I had an X-ray breast cancer detection. Here you can see there are many papers over here. You can find many different algorithms, and you can use your own algorithm. I mean that you can use any of your algorithm to do a research on that. But it should be more. It should cover the points which were not covered in the other research papers. And the third is to formulate question or a hypothesis. So as I said, after literature review, you have to find some questions regarding their papers, that where are these gaps and how to fill when what is the hypothesis they took in their papers, and thus you can find it out on your research paper. And the fourth step is to do a methodology of the paper. You have to make a draft of a process model and do a data collection, meant that you have to do a data collection like a data set you have to gather. And the and the fifth point is you have to choose appropriate tool, like what language to use, which open source technology to use, and which algorithm to use. The number six step is to interpret the result and the conclusion, in which you have to gather classification report, accuracy, ROC curve, and different types of graphs so that the people can understand it more easily. So after the completion of the implementation part, you have to start writing this paper, in which you have to first start with abstract, then you have to write introduction, and you have to do methods, then result, discussion, and conclusion. And the most important part comes here. You have to cite all the papers, like whichever you took for the reference, to cite them. If you don't cite them, you will get punishment of plagiarism, and further your paper request would be declined. So before, even after you cite, the ninth step is to do a proofread and revision of the paper before submission. I can show you a draft paper of a research paper how it looks like. So okay, uh, here you can see a draft paper, research paper. So here I worked on a YOLO based algorithm which comes up with XI, and for XI algorithm we choose line. And this you all the steps were written. You can see that in it is a research paper, but it has a literature review, which is a small, very very small literature review. In review paper you will see it of a big size. Here you can see the algorithms and how it was written in mathematical equations. And here it is a figure of process model of a research paper. And at last you can see the result and conclusion, the all graphs, ROC curve, confusion matrix, and at last it is the references. Okay, so now let's move on to review paper. So in review paper, you have to select a topic regarding through which you will check all different kinds of other paper. So for that you have to go into many websites like I show you, Semantic Scholar, Google Scholar. You have to find 50 to 80 papers at least, and read them so that you can identify the trends, gaps, and debates, and you can write that in your paper. So, and the fourth step is to organize the structure of the paper very correctly. They should be in chromatic order. The theme should be properly clear, and the methodology explained to be uh, clear also. And the fifth step is critically analyze and synthesize the. You just don't need to write what they have written in the paper. You can also identify some mistakes. You can criticize their outputs, and thus you can write that also in the research your review paper. And the sixth is the insight evaluation and suggestion for future research. So after you see different kind of research papers, in the review paper you can mention the what was the best algorithm you found out that works best in this specific area. So and their evaluation you have to present in your review paper. So the seventh point is about writing the review paper, which in which you have to include an abstract, introduction, main body, and a conclusion. And make sure to ensure the references, like I said you previously. Before submitting, you have to edit and revise the paper. Okay, so I will show you a review paper, a draft of review paper of mine. Here you can see it was a XI based learning uh, review paper for many different algorithms. Here first is the introduction part, and here comes a query based roadmap in which I did for MobileNet V2. And then here you have to make very number of tables, like you can see how many research paper I have studied, and I had make the taxonomy diagram, artifacts, tool, research gap, dataset, applications. To make a diagram of comparison between many other research papers. Here you can see the different tables for the algorithm. You have to identify which algorithm works the best in a particular case, so you have to do it. And here you have to make a many number of figures so that the reader can easily understand what's happening, and which is the best to take. and here you can see the comparison of a whole comparison, not a comparison, but it talks about their research paper, that what was covered in there. So here you can see the pros and cons. It was overfitting, so I mentioned it, etc. You can fill this gap. And at last is the process model for our paper. And then you have to do references to make sure that in review paper the references are above 50 or around 80. Here I had not completed this paper, but it has 15. I will do it and complete it further. Thank you.